Hey guys, this is my documentary on business. Is this the right? Am I here for the right shoot? Damn.
Hello, this is my documentary on school lunches. I interviewed my own school's lunch director, as well as did a lot of research on my own to find out what really goes into the process of it. Hope you guys enjoy. School lunches have changed a lot over the last few decades. Different regulations have been put in place, from allowing McDonald's as school vendors to the Healthy Hunger Free Kids Act. To learn more, I interviewed my own school's cafeteria director, Ms. Grander.
Yes, I do not get money from the school budget, from the town. So I operate with money from reimbursement that I get from the state and from the federal government for the meals that I serve. Another source of revenue is a la carte sales, so snack sales, essentially. And so I can predict how much money I'm going to be bringing in based on past sales forecasting. So I kind of have a set amount of what I believe I will have for revenue for next year. And based on that, I create a budget for food costs, labor costs, and obviously I need to stay within that. So just as an example for reimbursement, so for every lunch that I serve to students, I receive $4 and I'm going to double check my math so I don't give you the wrong number, $4.30 back per meal. And so that again covers food, labor, my salary, all the equipment that I would need to purchase and repair, any of my monthly expenditures. So it kind of gives me an idea of how much I can spend on food at a meal. So when I create a menu, we have some items that are more expensive than others, but ultimately I'm looking for my food costs to be no more than half of that, $4.30 for the total meal. So that kind of gives you an idea of how I create a menu based on what I hope is coming in for revenue. Yeah, so we do. There's state and federal nutrition guidelines for both the school lunch program and the National School Breakfast Program.
School lunches were changed in 2010 by the Healthy Hunger Free Kids Act. It increased accessibility by supplying schools so they could give out not only free lunch, but nutritionally rich lunch.
So I have to follow lots of federal guidelines around procurement, including like formal bids. I can't just buy product anywhere I want. There's a procedure for that. I have guidelines for smart snack regulations, which are stricter in Massachusetts than they are federally. So that provides me guidance as far as what I can serve as an a la carte item. So what we see on our snack rack, as an example, have to meet strict nutrition guidelines for that. I obviously have federal and state food safety regulations. We are inspected a couple times a year, very strict. Again, we're feeding children, so we are in a category that's a little stricter than a restaurant as far as what they're looking for food safety procedures.
Many requirements for school lunches include fat-free and low-fat milk, reduced sodium, 0 or less than half a gram of trans fat, and access to fruits and vegetables.
Of diet modifications, in addition to just the nutrition standards like calories, sodium, how much of a certain food group per se that I need to serve for age groups. So there's quite a large amount of regulations that I do need to look at. For a student that has a food allergy, we ask that a physician or a medical provider provide documentation for that food allergy or diet modification, and that could be anything from celiac disease to type 1 diabetes if they need modifications made to their meals or snacks, texture modifications as an example, and so the nurse in a school will get that documentation and turn that basically into a guidance for me as far as creating modifications for that student.
As Ms. Griner stated, school lunches that include allergens or dietary restrictions have to be clearly labeled, not be mistaken as something else.
When students pre-order meals in the morning, like they all do, we look and see that those students have ordered meals and then create a menu, a safe menu for that student and make the modifications we need to. At the middle and high school, there's a lot more responsibility given to the student for communicating whether they have a diet modification and letting us know if they need something special. The other area that we're, as far as like religious preferences, we try to be sensitive to that, and so that if we have a product that has pork, as an example, and many cultures and religions don't want to eat pork, and often personally, a lot of people avoid that. We make sure that we label that or clearly have signage that says that it has pork in it. We try to have at least one meatless option every day. Oftentimes it ends up being like the pizza line will have a cheese type product, so it's meatless. We have a few vegan options that we've dabbled a little bit more with that, and it seems like there isn't a huge group of students that are looking for that, but we do have wraps and things that are vegan if a student would like to have a vegan meal. And what else? So again, and it's by law, as far as getting back to like food allergies, if a student has a significant food allergy, I am required to make a modification for that student. So it's really, we take it very seriously, and so every student deserves to have a school lunch if they want to have a school lunch. So we make a lot of efforts, especially with the younger students who really rely on us to make sure that they're being handed something safe, that we take a lot of effort into making sure that they get something that hopefully is close to what the other students are eating, so that they don't feel singled out. I hope that the primary thing that we look at is what the students want to eat. I mean, it does not serve me well if I offer a bunch of healthy food that no one wants and no one likes. So, one of the things that I do is sort of think about the trends of what students are eating, especially, like, again, we're talking here at a high school and a middle school. So students are eating out. They're going with their friends to places like Chipotle or Chick-fil-A or Birdie's Hot Chicken or wherever, Cumberland Farms. I mean, you're getting food, and also, like, students today are definitely more sophisticated eaters than when I was in school. So we kind of look at the trends and seeing what kids, are looking for, and trying to do our best to kind of duplicate some of that while meeting all of those standards that I talked about before. The other thing that drives menu items is, like, can I get it? Is it something that I can find the product? Do I have the labor to create something? Is it so labor intense that it just can't happen because we just don't have the labor? Do I have the equipment that I need to actually, do it? We are really lucky that I think if I think about my staff, I've got really well-trained staff that are really interested in doing creative things, so they're willing to try some new things. But often what we struggle with is, the kind of going full circle. We'll think of a new item, we'll menu it, but we don't have a real strong infrastructure to do the marketing and the promotion of it, right? So I'll give you an example. We did, the Korean beef. We did this. We thought it was a great idea. We tested the recipe internally, and then we menued something. And as much as we all felt that the item was good, the kids, it was not as popular as we expected. And when we kind of look back as, well, why was that? For so much work that was put into making it, why didn't the students run and, want to, buy it by the dozens? And it was, we really didn't do anything to actually communicate with the students of what it was going to look like, doing a small tasting, in the cafeteria. And so, as we make mistakes like that, we kind of learn how important it is that students have a say. But we can't assume that when they come in the line, that they see everything we have to offer and that they're carefully making choices. Oftentimes students come into our cafeteria or into the serving area and they kind of it's crowded, it's a little chaotic, and they go to what they know. Because why would you, if you've got one chance to get a lunch, why would you necessarily pick something brand new that you have no idea what it tastes like and waste your lunch, if you don't like it? So I'm learning a lot as we're trying to get a little bit more adventurous with our menu. Yes, I get primarily my groceries from two major purveyors, Thurston Foods and Gordon Foods. We have a company that sells us our milk. I have a bread vendor, but getting to local product and farms. So we have formal relationships with Vineyard Farms in West Bridgewater, Langwater Farms in Easton, and C. Smith Farm in East Bridgewater. And so, right now, the apple crop for C. Smith was so good this year, and they had so many rainy days when people should have been picking apples, that they still are selling us apples that they harvested in the fall. And Langwater Farms is starting up again for the spring, and Langwater Farms is still operating, and I'm buying carrots there and honey there, even through the winter. And Vineyard Farms is kind of getting ready to plant for the spring, or have already started planting for the spring. But I also am looking for other local sources, especially for things like chicken and beef, and local eggs, as an example. So we have a grant that allows me to spend money on local products, and what I've found that it's easy to find produce, fruits and vegetables, but it's not as easy to find the quality of the raw meat that I'm looking for. So if you know anybody that wants to sell me some chicken or beef, I'm looking. So
it's very interesting. This is the second to last question. Do you believe our school is a good representation of most school lunches?
Well, I work with a group of food service directors on the South Shore as part of a purchasing collaborative, which I've been working with them for years, and so I'm pretty familiar with what their menus are, and I think all of us have really good quality food. We, I think, are unique in a lot of ways because we're self-operating, so I have really control over what we do locally within our 4 schools. But I really feel that students should have as many choices as possible. So I think, and again, a lot of this is anecdotal, and also from what I look at other menus in other schools, I think we do a really fantastic job here of offering a lot of different choices for students, even at the elementary school level. So it's not just one hot meal and one choice of a cold lunch if you don't want the hot meal. At the elementary schools, we offer 5 alternate lunches, in addition to the hot meal. I mean, here, literally, there's so many menu items, and I'm hoping by doing that, there's something for everybody, so that there isn't a student that if they want to eat lunch with us or breakfast with us, that they're going to find something that they will enjoy. So I think we do a really good job of that.
This is just a final closing question. Is there any other info you'd like to speak about or tell?
Oh, that's a good question. Yeah, I think people, having an opportunity to talk a little bit about what we do behind the scenes is really valuable. One of my staff said, "Geez, Amory, you got a lot going on. Why are you taking time to sit with the student and talk to them?" And I answered. I said, anytime I get to tell someone that, hey, we're like a little self-operating restaurant in a school, and we're working really hard to try to, get kids to really, like what we're offering, and also quite frankly, how hard these men and women work, behind the scenes. People don't see that. Students come in and they just want good food, and believe me, that's what we're there to deliver. And but there's a lot that happens behind the scenes to make sure to make sure that they get a decent meal, hopefully more than a decent meal. I think the only thing that, as far as communicating with students, what I see sometimes that I would love to see changed is I see a lot of food that ends up in the trash. And you take a lunch, not everyone's going to eat their entire plate of food, but I see a lot of things like bagged apples, whole bagged apples from, C.N. Smith being thrown in the trash, or, bags of carrots, or unwrapped cheese sticks as an example.
Hope you guys enjoyed my documentary. Special thanks to Anne-Marie Grinder, and thank you for watching.